Hi, you guys. Welcome to it. If you shop at Whole Foods, we have some very shocking lists for you about foods that we think are healthy. We think they're clean brands, but they actually fall under the ultra processed food category. And we're going to talk more about a study today and the association with cancer. So just a brief introduction. If you don't know us, I'm Julie Delabarre, clinical nutritionist. I specialize in oncology and
I'm Dr. Vongtama. I am board certified in radiation oncology and lifestyle medicine. Glad to have you here.
yeah, and we're going to have a list for you as well. Let's call it the ultra list, the ultra process list. So if you want to get these brands, we've made a list for you and we have the healthy alternatives in addition to that as far as what to eat. So in short, let me just kind of go over what is ultra processed and then I'm going to have Roy dive more into the study. But you might see these labels branded as organic or non-GMO or keto or grain-free. And you think that from that label, it's actually healthy for you. But what's actually hiding in these foods are some of those ingredients with the refined oils. They have added sugars or flavorings. And one thing that I thought was really interesting as we were diving into this research is that some of the brands that you can buy, some of their products are actually clean and some of them are under the ultra processed list. So for example, one of my favorite brands is called Mary's Gone Crackers, and some of their flavors are not ultra processed and some of them are. So we need to understand what it is we're actually buying and which brands are actually clean. I was definitely shocked when I went through this list. I don't know if you guys have Hippies chickpea puffs. I like those,
I
but
like
they're
them.
ultra processed. You like those too?
Oh man.
I know, it's like bummer. I thought I was doing something healthy. Have you ever had those harvest snaps, the green pea ones?
Yeah, I get those all the time.
Ultra processed. It's the
Come
oils.
on.
Yeah, it's the oils. Same for the veggie straws. I used to pick those up sometimes for my kids, like thinking I was doing something somewhat healthier.
Yeah.
And no, even the popcorners are not good. Pop chips are not good. And it just has to do with the oils that they're made in. Some of them have maltodextrin in them or natural flavors. And that's what's making them ultra processed. But what's great is we also have a list of brands of chips and crackers and some of those like snackable foods that we like to get that are actually healthy. So in short, on this list, if you have the Siete grain-free tortilla chips, those are actually really good for us. The Bear Baked brand is good. Another one that I liked, Simple Mills almond flour crackers are great. And Flackers, actually, one I just discovered the other week. So I was happy to see that on my list. But these are all made really clean. So again, we have this list for you, and you can just reach out to us and say, I want the ultra list, and we'll send that to you. So let's dive into why this really matters, because we want to eat clean to prevent disease. But we have this study, and we want you to hear this so that it really gives you meaning as to why we're choosing the foods that we are choosing. So Roy, tell us what's up.
Yeah. So it is important to know that there's facts behind the stuff that we're talking about. And Julie and I really do a deep dive into everything we tell you. And this study is called the UK Biobank Study, and it had about 197,000 people in the study. They followed about 10 years, 9.8 years. So it's a long time and a lot of people. And so it gives you a really robust amount of evidence. And they found that people who had the highest intake of ultra processed food, in this study in the UK, the highest quartile, the top 25%, they had over 40% of their grams of food being ultra processed. So that Julie, we were talking before, we were saying that it was basically the grams of food versus the calories of food is fairly similar. So we could say about 40% of the highest quartile were eating ultra processed, right? You were saying that before.
Yeah, yeah. And I think when you get into it, it was like incrementally increased depending on how much more they had in their diet.
Yeah, so the highest quartile, the top 25%, the people who ate 40% or more, they had the most risk of cancer. And they found that no matter how much you ate, what they found that if you had 10% of your diet ultra processed, your chance of having cancer within those next 10 years was 2% per 10% of your diet being ultra processed. So in the highest quartile, if they had 40%, That would be 2% times 4. That's 8% higher risk of any cancer. Here's the issue also for women. For ovarian cancer, for every 10% that you have ultra processed in your diet, your chance of ovarian cancer goes up 19% for every 10% of your diet. So so say, just to keep it simple, if you had 20 meals a week, 10% would be 2 meals. So if you had 2 meals that were ultra processed, that increases your rate of cancer by 2%. Now, that's the UK. They're actually healthier than we are. The average American, not the highest, but the average, eat 50% of their meals as ultra processed. So the highest quartile in America eat over 65% of their meals as ultra processed. So if you're listening, you're in that group, you really need to know this. We're really trying to give you information, not to scare you really, but to let you know that yeah, the diet does really matter. It does influence your rate of cancer. And we also know cancer is going to be the biggest chronic disease that we have in the United States in the next 10 years. It already is number 2. So soon it's going to be number 1. And the chances of getting cancer is 1 in 3. And it's just going up. One of the reasons is food.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
like I always say, we're like a chemistry project. It's like, how could you not think that what we put into our body, whether it's a medicine or a food, it's going to cause these chemical reactions?
Yes.
But what's really important to know, and why we're creating this list for you and giving you this information, is that there are clean alternatives out there.
Yeah.
So if you just know what to buy, then you're good to go. And I think that there's always a healthy balance between eating the foods that you enjoy with clean products, and, again, eating healthy products and balancing it with things that you like. So you don't have to live in this dietary restriction where you're not enjoying things. It's so easy to keep the diet healthy and nurturing and healing the body when you simply know which products and brands to buy. And that is why we've created a list for you. And we have our ongoing groups that we're running. We're actually starting another one in about 4 weeks so that
Yes.
we can educate you and just step by step show you what to do that can make you that 1% healthier. And I mean, just hearing those statistics, Roy, it's kind of scary, but it's also empowering, because if,
Yes.
1 or 2 meals out of our week are in the ultra processed category and the risk that it gives us,
Right.
if we can just simply shift that and like really, really take that to heart and intentionally, feed ourselves well, that's empowering.
It's really true. I think it's more about empowering and keeping your mindset appropriate, right? It's not about shame. It's not about blame. It's not about guilt. It's just hearing the information and being detached and realizing, okay, this is what I'm doing. And then I know a lot of moms are out there like, oh my God, I've been feeding my kids these things that cause cancer. Well, yes, but also now you know. So now it's time to make change some action. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, like Julie said, we have this course coming up. I think we're calling it Detox Defense, right?
Yeah.
It's like a 6-week course. So if you want to go through and look at your diet, look at how you're doing your life to try to get some of these things out, we welcome you to join as well.
Absolutely, because I think eliminating and avoiding some of these foods is
Hmm.
sometimes the best line of
Yeah,
defense
yeah,
against disease developing. But again, we want to make it super simple and just step by step. So it's not overwhelming, because myself as a mom, like I've got
right.
enough going on with all the kids.
You don't have time. Right.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, my kids have eaten some of these ultra processed foods throughout their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I think is great is once we start to feed the body well, like the body is powerful. Like the body detoxifies itself if we just give it the right nutrients, right?
Right. Well, I think I want to answer one thing I know it's going through people's minds right now. Well, I grew up eating McDonald's. I grew up eating this too, How come I don't have cancer? Well, guess what? The rate of cancer is 1 in 3.
Mm.
So 1 out of 3 people listening, you are being affected. You're like, "Oh, I grew up and I'm fine." No, actually you're not. So we want to change this because the rate of cancer goes up after you hit 50. And so we want to really be mindful even now. It's not too late to change. It's not too late for yourself or even your parents or your kids or your grandkids. So we want to make sure that you understand that too.
Absolutely. And I'm so
Right.
glad that we found this list, because it was eye-opening for me as well. Some of these brands that I used to buy thinking they were healthy. But it's good to know and have that list to make it so simple in order to go to the store and just be like, yep, that one, that one, that one. I'm good. and not have to think about it anymore. So that's great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Thank
great, everybody. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, definitely. So just you can DM us or email us about the Ultra list and we'll send you that. And if you want more information about the course we're starting in May, let us know. And of course, if you're seeing this after May, just reach out because we're always doing work with our community and we love to, help you guys down the road to healing. It's great.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.